If you started teaching in the fall, you, like so many other teachers, are approaching what I call the halfway mark. You're entering into the winter season, and now you're looking forward to an upcoming winter break. But another thing may be approaching, and that's what we call teacher burnout. So, in today's video, we'll be talking all about signs to help you recognize if you are headed towards teacher burnout. Up next. Hey everybody, my name is Michelle Holiday. I am a behavior strategist and I help teachers, schools, districts, and youth-based organizations learn how to manage their students and their classroom or educational environments with less stress and less struggle. And today we're talking about a very common thing that happens across the educator universe, which is called teacher burnout. Now, I don't know about you, but I have experienced teacher burnout a number of times in my teaching profession. And in the beginning, when I first started to experience it, I didn't even know that it existed. I didn't even know what it was. And so I had no idea what I was getting into. But after I began to educate myself, talk more to other teachers, I realized that I was actually in teacher burnout. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 4 signs that will help you recognize if you are in or headed towards teacher burnout. So first, let me start off with what is the definition of teacher burnout. Now, you can look this up online and you'll get a variety of answers. But if I were to sum up what is teacher burnout and to really lay general terms, it is when your motivation, your incentive, or your devotion to teach is fizzling out or is actually burned up. And so what you used to love about teaching, your passion, your desire, your energy for teaching is slowly dwindling or has totally gone away. So how do you know if you are headed towards teacher burnout? So let's talk about 4 signs that you may be experiencing or have experienced as a teacher. The first sign is if you are irritable or quick to anger. So what I mean by irritable is there are a lot of things that irritate us as educators. There are a lot of things that have gotten on my nerves, that have caused me frustration, anger, and upset. And that's a part of the job or anybody's job, really. But when that has escalated and when that has increased to a point to where you go from 0 to 100 quickly, and that was not really a part of your personality, you may be headed for teacher burnout. I remember I had this one student who was very disrespectful and very disruptive for me in my classroom. And she was always causing me a major issue on a daily basis, right? And so over time, it really began to wear on me because I really wasn't implementing anything, or I had not, I think I expressed to administration what was happening, but there really wasn't anything happening to reduce or change that behavior. So over time, it began to wear on me to the point to where her presence, like she didn't have to open her mouth, she didn't have to say anything. Her presence alone began to cause me to burn up on the inside and become very angry. And so that didn't just happen with one student, it started to happen with a number of students. And so I became very irritable. Things that I used to could take and handle and kind of calm myself down in the middle, that was not working. I was becoming very angry, irritable quickly, and on a daily, hourly basis. So if you find yourself to where things that used to upset you, where it took you a minute to get to that high point where now it takes no time at all, you might be headed towards teacher burnout. Sign number 2, increased complaints and criticism. Now, again, in the field of education, we do have a lot to complain about and we do have a lot to criticize. And so that's a real thing. But when it has increased to a point to where nothing is good, nothing is positive, and the list of complaints has grown above and beyond, I call it the regular level, you may be headed towards teacher burnout because now you can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can't see any light at all. As a matter of fact, you are filled with so much anger, darkness, frustration that to even get up and go to the car to get to school is an issue for you. Sign number 2 is a change in appetite. Now, I've actually experienced both sides of that spectrum to where I would eat too much to cope, to comfort, to chill out, or I would eat too little to cope, or because I felt like I just didn't have the time to do anything. I distinctly remember a season in my teaching career where I was living off the vendor food at the school. I was living off the vendor machine at the school. So whatever I could get, whatever snack, whatever drink, that's what I ate for the day. When I came home, I was so tired, I ate very little. And so really I was just operating on adrenaline or leftover energy. But guess what? That burns up really quickly and then that adds other factors. But on the other side, I found myself at a certain point eating too much, meaning I may not eat anything at school, but when I got back home, I would, stop at the fast food, eat the sweets. That was my thing. Your thing might be the salty, right? But I would eat all these things to comfort, to bring myself down to, I call it a calm level, just to cope with all the things that were happening. So if you notice yourself having a change in appetite, and let me just add this other thing in that your appetite might not just be related to food, it might be related to alcohol, it might be related to other substances, but there's a change that is happening. And a lot of it is due to the stress, the frustration that is continuous and that is escalated, especially when you feel like there is no way out. So a change in appetite might be a sign for you that you are headed towards teacher burnout. And sign number 4, physical and emotional symptoms. So your physical symptoms can look like headaches, something that's feeling off within your system, stomach issues, dizziness, having a hard time catching your breath, especially when things are stressful, when there's deadlines or meetings that are pressing upon you. The emotional symptoms can look like anxiety. It can look like depression. It could look like you're feeling low, feeling like you have no way out. And these are just a few ways the physical and or emotional symptoms can show up in your body. But at the end of the day, your body is trying to tell you something, that something is not right with what is going on. And you might be headed towards teacher burnout. Now, I have a couple of videos coming up where I will be talking about how to avoid teacher burnout and how to overcome teacher burnout. But the main purpose of today's video is for you to do a mental check, a body check, a spiritual check, and say, okay, what is going on with me? What is going on with my body? And what is it telling me about my current situation? Teacher burnout is a real thing. Like I said, I've experienced it before. You can overcome it. You can avoid it. But there are times where you just find yourself in it and you don't even know when it happened. Here's the thing. If you don't take anything away from today's video, is to do a self-check, look out for the signs, and look out for where you are. If I were to give you an immediate next step, it would be to take a pause, do a self-check, and say, okay, what do I need to change about what is happening in my life right now? If you feel like you are headed towards teacher burnout, feel free to share your thoughts about that in the comments below. Also, if you have experienced it before and you're still standing, definitely leave that in the comments below. That's all for today's video, and I will see you next time.